bumped his head. Now they locked up in old jail shit and getting fed. Yeah, classical. This be a classic American lick hit. Yeah. Yo, they got an appetite for destruction. What's the function? Meet me at the crossroads. Dead man's junction. Strange fruit, blow to the breeze. A stench of fresh death. Classic American shit. Check how the skit went. It's 4 shotgun shells and 2 shotties. 3 jugs of moonshine and 2 bodies. 6 white sheep, a noose and 2 crosses. Some gas and a couple of matches and you got it. Yeah, they caught them slipping on the streets at night. You know black boys shitting off the streets at night. They tried to run but got caught with one bumped his head. Now they locked up in old jail shit and getting fed straight. Pipe the clan types, they like that side of me. 6 in a line, the screen shake the property. C1 died because you know his heart stopped. So they clipped his balls, his nose and his toes off. 1 down and 1 more. Snatch the noose up. Throw him in the back of the truck, snatch the fool up, cruise up, set up the cross, set the noose up, kick him in the ass some more until he's bruised up. Now hang, yeah. Watch the nigga boy swing. Watch him twitch for breath until his neck bone snap. It's a classic American lick. You can't forget that. Classic, like Mozart and Beethoven. When you see the whites of their eye, just stay focused and stay open. It's a nice knock the night for a classic American lick.
Let me tell you about Carl, high school basketball star with plans to go far. The next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had all the prods riding his tip. It made his teammates sick. They got jealous and shit. Billy, Bob, and Chris said they tired of this, so they figured they get the rope, string it up, and hang the nigga. Then we'll see who's bigger, flagrant foul giver, malt liquor sipper. Get the picture, the back the car, cause he was hype. Friday, the big game night. Only taking a school full of whites. The team won, he had 40 cause his Jimmy was tight. Chris told Carl, your future is bright. Let's celebrate and have a drink tonight. Carl agreed, took a shower and got clean. Bounced to the scene. What he found was change and gasoline in about 15. Edomites that was hate. Carl lost patience, started breaking, but he was too slow for the 4x4 truck. That's when he got stuck in the face. Stomped at a rapid pace. Nothing but pain, beating his brain with his chain. All cause the Jake had games. Next word he heard, don't make you the next James Bird. And that's a sure bet. Chain around the neck, that was all wet, dripping in sweat. Billy Bob went to get Hutch, the owner of the truck, started mashing on the gas. The car's body ripped up. It's drastic. Police claim no suspects, no causes, and no answers. It's 2000, but it's still classic. The bastards gotten way clean like fantastic. Those highs gonna melt their ass like plastic. In these last days, it's still classic.
Classic, like Mozart and Beethoven. When you see the whites of their eye, just stay focused and stay open. It's a nice knock the night for a classic American legend. See, time keeps ticking, but y'all keeps forgetting. Now they modernize and digitize the lynching. Stick you in a cell, legitimize the lynching. Instigate jailhouse wars, increase tension. But what about Diallo? What went down in Jasper? George W. Bastard. He sent 151 to the chair to get fried and plastered. But Christ got a plan, the true Lord and Master. The death of the saints is repaid in hundreds. Christ brings war and retribution for sure, y'all. And not knowing the power that's rolling with us. Bit bats and angelic beings as heavy hitters that transform addicts and fiends to steady pillars. 200 million willing and ready killers that strap to the T and do it classically. That classic American hit, drastically classic. Classic, like Mozart and Beethoven. When you see the whites of their eye, just stay focused and stay open. It's a nice knock the night for a classic American legend.
Mic check. All right, let's try that again. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. If I'm coming in clear now, family, throw a 7 in the chat for me. If you can hear me, up that 7. Okay. All praises to Water Shore. I don't know why I can't hear. All right, good. Y'all can hear me. Okay, cool. All praise to the Most High. So let's rewind that. It's been a minute since I did a little Friday Night Lights. Your brother's a little rusty, right? So all praise, honor, glory to the Most High. IQAhmath. This is your brother IQAhmath. IQ, first name IQ is all the same. Welcome to another episode. DSTM, don't shoot the messenger. A blessed Shabbat night and evening to my brothers and sisters out there. Prayerfully, everybody's doing well. Staying out of trouble as you should be, right? I want to salute the saints that's in the house. That's tapping in. So Sister Hashemah in the house, Ashar in the house, Koaf in the house, Shalak, Ashar, all praises. My sister Hadessa in the house, Shalom to you, sis. Anybody and everybody else is going to be joining in, man. Salute the saints. Come on in, say what's up. It's all good. Got a little one to cover today. As you can see, man, the Most High is turning up that heat. Spiritually, but in more so literally. The heathen out there burning up over there in Europe, man. Thousands are dying because of the heat. Here in America, the heat is under a massive heat wave, most of the country. And you got to wonder, well, what type of purging is the Most High doing with this heat and these heat waves that's going on throughout the world? And the Most High said that he's going to purge this place with fervent heat. And this is just a sampling. You know, the real purging is going to come via fervent heat of the heat from the nuclear destruction, and let alone the destruction that comes from the chariots, right? Let me get that in 2 Peter 3. And let me share. How about we do it this way? We're gonna read 2 Peter chapter 3, and we'll start at verse 8, and we'll read down. So it says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day." So let me get this also up in Hosea chapter 6 and 2. Okay, so look. It says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing." So the Most High is saying, if you don't remember anything, there's one thing that you can't be ignorant of, is the timing, how the Most High lays things down. 2 Ezra 9 tells us to measure the time diligently, right? So we have to be observant, and we got to understand the times that we're in, and we have to pay attention. Sirach 5:15 says, "Be not ignorant of any matter, small or great." One thing for sure, two things for certain. The Most High said, this one thing for sure, you better not be ignorant of, because that helps us track down and keep abreast of what timing we're in as it pertains to the deliverance of the children of Israel, Christ bringing vengeance upon his enemies, justice for the children of Israel, right? Look, it says, can't be ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. So how do we calculate as well? Going to Hosea chapter 6 and the second verse. Actually, we'll read 1 and 2. It says, "Come and let us return unto Yahweh." So there's going to be a time of return, a point of return, right? And we have to repent. We have to seek the face of the Most High 10 times or more. We got to seek his healing. We got to seek his righteousness. We got to seek his faith. And we have to be solidified in our stance as we're walking towards our promised kingdom. So this is the prophesied time when the Most High said that the children of Israel are going to return, as we see that there's been a global awakening amongst our people, waking up in droves, to where our people are now learning who they are. They're being more interested about history. They're being more interested about being self-convicting and repenting and seeking the righteous ways of the Most High. So this time is now. For he hath torn and he will heal us. So the Most High has punished us. We have received the tearing. We've gotten the cursings. We've gone through it. Isaiah 40 and verse 2 says that we received of his hand double. So if we paid twice the debt. And now the Lord said he's a man, he's not a man that he should lie. It tells us in Numbers the 24th chapter, he says he's not a man that he should lie. So if he tore us and he punished us, he said he's also going to heal us. We're in the healing phase now. We're in the time now where we have the grace and the mercies of the Most High to be able to walk in repentance, to utilize the grace and the mercies of the Lord, to get our acts together. That's part of the healing. It says he has smitten us and he will bind us up. That's a promise, man. When, as destitute and as problematic as our nation is, blacks, Native Americans, Hispanics, and it always looks like there's a bleak outcome. We're never going to get it together. The Lord said, no. One thing for sure is no, we will get it together. He's going to bind us up. We're going to be bound back up. We're going to get back everything that was promised to us. But how long is it going to take? It says after 2 days will he revive us. So after 2,000 years. So if we know if Yahushua died at, let's say, 33 AD, 2,000 years after that, he said, I'll bind you up. So we're in the stages of being bound up. So after 2,000 years, back in the day, there was a prophecy in the year 2000, we're going to be delivered and all that. That was a doctrine that was definitely getting pushed. We didn't push it, but it was being pushed. And that's one of the things that the so-called quote unquote One West doctrine gets criticized for, is that there was a false prophecy that came out. But the scriptures tell us that we know in part, we prophesy in part. So, if men were doing their due diligence and that's what they came up with at the time, it was understood, okay, hey, brothers was wrong. But should that have rocked your faith? Should that have made men fall off? No. But it did do a lot of damage. To this day, the Christian scoffers are saying, hey, what about Ariel's prophecy in the year 2000? That fell astray. How many damn false prophets and false prophecies that came out of Christianity and Catholicism? How many false prophets have came out of the oral traditions that came from Africa and all that? I mean, let's keep it real. But if brothers have read this correctly, it says after 2000, not in 2000. So the revitalization of our people is happening as we speak right now. So once we've surpassed 2,000 years, we're already into the third day. We began the third day. It's not going to be in the year 3000. No, after two comes what? 3, right? Keep it simple. So we're being raised up now, and we shall live in his sight. So that's our objective, is to live in the sight of the Most High, right? So these are the things that we have to pay attention to, because when we start seeing all the things that's going on in the earth, I mean, you can't help but say, this is a biblical time that we're living in. When you see our enemies running frantic, trying to extend their kingdom out here, establishing the digital databases and the mark of the beast system and population control and disease, plague, famine, war. I mean, we see all of these things happening, man. You see wild anomalies, man, the sky turning red with smoke in Australia, in Venezuela, earthquakes in diverse places. We seen that go on all last week. 5 different countries having earthquakes within 24 hours, all of which was either 5.9 or greater. That's not by happenstance. These are all things that the Most High is assembling and gathering at this point in time to show and prove his power. He said, when you see these things happen, uproars of the people, earthquakes, he said, know that it's the beginning of the end, when the Most High is going to visit the earth from which he made. So the visitation is upon us. Let's read the book of Baruch, chapter 4. We're going to bounce around here in a little bit. Verse 1, it says, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endure forever. So the law has never been done away with. Ever. we're always going to be subject to a moral code, a civil code, a dietary code, a ceremonial code, and a sacrificial code. That's always going to be on deck. Only sacrifice, we don't do sacrifices for sin. Yahweh Shai paid for that debt. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Animal sacrifices and things of that nature, we don't. But we make our bodies a living sacrifice. We do commit certain elements of sacrifice still. The scriptures say that we offer the sacrifices of our lips in Hosea 14:2. So we still do have an element of sacrifice that still goes on. For anyone who's scratching their head saying, sacrifice, I thought that was it. Yeah, one aspect of the sacrificial laws are done away. Other than that, we still have an element of sacrifice that we do take part of. But it says these laws endure forever. All they that keep it shall come to life. See, isn't that interesting? Like when the young rich man came up to Yahweh Shai in Matthew 19, he asked him, what should I do to inherit eternal life? He said, well, what's the commandment say? We enter into life via the commandments. Without them, we're dead. Period. Continuing on, it says, but such as leave it shall die. So there is no question about whether or not the law is beneficial or profitable for man. Men and women of Israel, of course it is. It said these are the things that keep us alive. This is why our people are out here getting ready to engage in an idolatrous and heathenistic custom and following after ignorances of July 4th and birthdays of America. That have nothing to do with us at all. Post 1776, we were still captives and slaves. We were still having rebellions, fighting for our freedoms in North, South, and Central America. There was no freedom for us at all. And you're going to hear about the tragedies of drive-by shootings and stuff that happened on July 4th. Oh, somebody lost a limb on July 4th. You're going to hear about all that foolishness come Saturday night and Sunday morning. All of the aftermath of our people who's out there acting a damn fool, keeping this folly day. Continuing on. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Who did he tell to do it? Jacob. The children of Jacob, the sons of Jacob, the daughters of Jacob, the children of Israel. That is our commandments. That's our laws. He told us to take hold of it so that we can have the light, that we can be illuminated. It's not for everybody. How do we know that? Look at verse 3. Give not thine honor to another. What's the honor that the children of Israel have? Hold on. Let's look at this in Psalms. Let's look at Psalm 148. And 48 might be 49. Might be 49. I think it is 49. Yeah, check this out. Now watch this. Give not thine honor to another. So if we're talking about what's honorable in the eyes of the Most High, salvation is wonderful. The Lord said you don't give that to anybody else. Don't give it to anybody else, especially a strange nation, i.e. the heathen. But look at this. Psalm 149, verse 6. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. The Lord said that this judgment, this honor, to be able to bind the heathen up and execute vengeance upon them, that cannot go to anybody else. That's not shareable. That's not cohesive. That's not us together going to do. No. The Israelites, that's the honor that we're going to receive. And the Lord said, you better not give that to anybody else. The saints, we all should know that. Psalms, let's go a chapter before this. He said that this is the honor that the saints going to receive. Psalms 148:14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even the children of Israel. Okay, so the saints of the children of Israel. This is 101 stuff. A people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh. Right? So let's double back to Baruch. Baruch 4:3. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. What's profitable to us? The laws, the statutes, and the commandments, the righteousness of the Most High, the service of the Lord. That's profitable for us. Romans 9 tells us everything that was good for us to receive. And we don't share and we can't give it to another nation. Don't care how much you love them, how much you forgive them, how much you would wish that we could. It doesn't matter what you want or I want. It's what the Most High said to do. Verse 4, O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemy. So we get better understanding on why we're going through what we're going through. It's solely because we moved the Most High to wrath. We pissed the Most High off. Being rebellious, going against his commandments, being idolatrous, being envious of the nations and want to follow after their ways. All those things the Most High said, oh, is that what you want? Okay, I'm going to show you how they live and how I'm going to treat you then. Let's drop down, read verse 14. Let them that dwell about Zion come and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting have brought upon them. So there's going to be a remembrance and the restoration of the children of Israel when the remembrance comes back of when we were brought into captivity via the curses. And guess what? It's going to happen to us. Let's drop down, read verse 28. It says, for as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. So we've got work to do. We got work to do. You know, Thessalonians tells us that he that, I'm paraphrasing, he that turneth the sinner from the error of his ways covers a multitude of sins. If you can get one person to repent, man, and change their ways, the Most High said that covers a multitude of your sins. I don't know about you, but I'm in debt. My credit, I'm building my credit back with the Most High, right? You know how you build your credit back up with Esau and his system. You got a 580 score, and you're like, dang, how can I do it? Oh, you buying these credit building credit cards, you're paying your bills on time, you're working hard to get up to that 700 plus mark. Same way, think the same way with the Most High. Think about all the dirt, everything. Unless you was born in the truth and your sins are minimal, the rest of us got dues to pay. And even if you've been in the truth, ain't none of us can't go up out here and say you ain't sinned while you've been in the truth. Nobody's walking in perfection. We've all stumbled. We've all had issues. We've all had problems. We've all had stumbling blocks. We've all had things in which we had to seek the face of the Lord and repent for. But the Lord said, when you get in that mode, 10 times the more we got to get to it. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned seek him 10 times more. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. That's coming to us. Israel. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation, man. Who needs the joy? Who needs to be replenished, man? Who's got the issues of the sunken place? We watched a whole movie called Get Out, where the brother gets hypnotized and gets drawn in the sunken place, man, gets lost to who he is, and then gets preyed upon by the heathen. We need the joy. We need the elation. We need to be relieved from our mental anguish. He said that comes along with your salvation, right? Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Miserable are they that afflicted thee and rejoiced at thy fall. So when we see the heathen that's been complicit, that took advantage of our fall, took advantage of our ignorances, took advantage of us being rebellious to the Most High, constantly persuade us to stay on the left. Lord said their lives are going to be miserable. All that afflicted us. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. So when we start seeing, and they're doing polls. I think I covered it last week when they were talking about the overall spirit of America, and the spirit of patriotism is at an all-time low. They're all miserable right now. Look at it. See, look at this. Here's just one. Death of American exceptionalism. There's another one. Yeah, I covered it last week. I ain't even gonna go into it. Because the title of last week's was America See More Peril Than Prosperity. They all see the bottom line destruction of this place, the downward trajectory that this place is experiencing. So miserable are the cities which thy children are served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For she is rejoiced at thy ruin, and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own destruction. Why is it talking about her? Because what? Revelation 17 speaks about this great harlot, mother of harlots, this whore that sits upon many waters, riding on a beast with 10 heads and 7 crowns on the heads. This is the she. She rejoiced at thy ruin. Yeah, America took full advantage of us. And they're going to take advantage of our people's ignorances right now, in real time, as our people are out here getting prepared to celebrate July 4th and talking about the 250-year anniversary of our country. What? When was this your country? It's our country's birthday. Be patriotic. What? You was still slaves during this time. Our people was running for their lives, still getting fed as alligator bait, running for their lives from the bloodhound dogs and getting mauled to death, getting lynched, hanged, raped. And we're celebrating what again? No, this place has rejoiced over our ruining. And they were glad when we fell. Modern day Pharaoh, they won't let our people go. If y'all was privy to and saw that the lesson I just did about the exploitation of black music the other day, they're glad at our fall. They create a whole system utilizing music to continue on with our fall. The promotion of the ignorances, the promotion of the vanities, the promotion of the fornication, the promotion of the idolatry, all of that comes through the music. Every aspect of righteousness, unity, positivity, awakeness, or wokeness, whatever you want to call it, that all gets shunned. That all gets booted out the system immediately. And now they're getting to the point now where they've got AI singing and doing everything, country music, soul music, you name it, to where in a minute, the talent of the so-called Negro, the AI has been able to download and assess and study the spirit of the sound of our music. That doesn't have no soul. Notice I said that they'll study the spirit of the sound, but there's no soul behind it. When AI is in the top 5 songs of the top 20 or something like that, they were saying a couple of months ago. They said 5 or 7 songs was created by AI is in the top 20. It's dead. And now the talent and the spirit that the Most High gave our people is going to be completely put to no use because it won't be exploited anymore. They've got a whole new AI system that can mimic that. So they're glad at our fall. So shall she be grieved at her own destruction. So yeah, when America gets destroyed, this is going to be what it is. For I will take away the rejoicing of her multitude, of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. Isn't that what the Bible tells us in Revelation 18? It's the habitation of devils. But the Lord said fire is going to come down upon her. It's going to be thermonuclear. Continuing on. Endure for a great time. Now it says, oh, Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold, the joy that cometh unto thee from the Most High. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sendest away. They come, they come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of the Most High. So that's the ultimate goal. The Most High said we're going to come from east to west by the word of the Holy One and rejoice from the glory of the Most High. All praises. I didn't finish Second Peter. I want to do that real quick before we move on. So getting back up here. So 2 Peter 3:8 says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. So we're in this time period right now. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise. So remember, the Most High said he's not a man that he should lie. It's on for us. As some men count slackness. So sometimes you get men that get impatient. Men and women end up leaving the truth. They find excuses. They lose patience. They saying it ain't gonna happen in my time. I might as well go out here and live it up. Oh, the 2/3 gonna be regenerated in the kingdom anyway. I might as well go ahead and just cash in my chips. All this time I was sacrificing and following these laws and up for what? It didn't do us no good. I'm out of here. Find excuses. Oh, this brother's offended me. I gotta leave. I'm leaving the camp. I'm doing it. You know, we've seen all the stories play out in real time on social media and so forth. But the Lord said he's not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward. So the Most High said, well, look, you want it your way, you want it right away. How long has the Most High suffered for us to get our act together? I mean, if we're just talking about America alone, it's well over 500 years. Forget the 400. Our people was over here in the 1400s. But it's long and longer than that, to keep it real. So if the Most High is long suffering and waiting for us to get our act together, but we want to turn around and his promise to be like, the Most High is like, man, you're on my time. Remember, he said a day with me is like 1,000 years. You acting like, 400 years or something. The Most High is like, he can sleep, not literally, but just imagine somebody who sleeps half the day. They get up, they're like, oh, their day is just beginning. You like, man, you been sleep half the day, man. You don't miss that. They ain't tripping about that. That's how the Most High is. The Most High is like, how long has it been? Stop whining. But he's long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. So he wants to give us a chance. He wants us to get it right. See, when we're counting slackness and we're saying, well, how come the Most High? We was waiting. Well, I've been in the truth 20 years, 30 years. I've been in the truth 10 years. It ain't nothing changed. We can't get it together. Israel's constantly bickering. We always bumping our heads. And at the same time, the Most High said, why is he being long suffering and it's taking so long? Is he not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance? So he's sifting everyone. Now, if Israel's like the sand of the sea, imagine how long it's going to take for him to sift it to get us together. Give me everybody a shot. Now, granted, 2/3 is going to perish. They're not going to accept the calling, but they still got to get a chance. Continuing on, it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. So in heaven, what are we talking about? The heaven on earth. Great noise. There's going to be bombs, earthquakes. There's going to be, the chariots bringing mass destruction. As you can hear in the spirit. If y'all can hear these damn idiots outside blowing up their hands now. But the Lord says it's going to come like a thief in the night. It's not going to come when it's expected. In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So it's going to be a purging via flame, via fire, that the Most High is going to bring this justice, right? So let's look at some articles, man, and let's get to some things. All right, so hopefully that's making some sense and y'all in the spirit with me. Um, let's just cover a few things this evening. So, no surprise here. I'm starting to sound like a broken record. I think I'm not gonna. I gotta play it out in the spirit. If I'm even gonna talk about this, the wars and this back and forth and this foolishness that's going on between Agent Orange and Iran. I mean, we know it's relevant, right? But there's really not no real breakthrough things that's going on, and particularly this week. Trump comes out again with another threat. They've been going back and forth. There has been some activity with the bombings back and forth. Now it says Iran talks are on hold after fighting breaks out, and Trump once again is threatening annihilation. So here he is now saying that he is going to annihilate, i.e., destroy all of Iran. So when you're saying those things, the only way that you can do that is you have to bring a nuclear arsenal to the table. Now he's a class A troll on internet terms. He'll just say some stuff to get some attention. He'll say some stuff to agitate. He'll say some things just to gaslight the situation. Doesn't mean that he ain't gonna follow through with it. He's full of shh. But he's again back threatening the state of existence of Iran. Now it says there may come a point when we are no longer able to be reasonable and will be forced to militarily complete the job that we very successfully started. If that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist, Trump wrote. So he's saying we're getting to the point now where negotiations and reasonable talk isn't going to happen. So the next thing is to go full force militarily and destroy the whole country of Iran. They're on there's an investigation right now going down with America for them unaliving 100 Iranian children where they were busted deliberately bombing schools and children, as we all know. Under investigation for the deaths. I didn't include it, but here it go. There you go. U.S. responsible for killing Iranian school children. After U.S. strike on Iranian school, months passed without answers. There was an article I seen. I think it was yesterday, and they were saying that I think the UN or somebody's doing an investigation about it. They said 100 kids was unalived by America and Israel. So we'll see if he ever comes through with this. We know biblically and prophetically it's going to have to happen. Is he going to be the one that does it? I mean, he's doing a great job right now. Look, this guy is so stupid. He said that he was talking about crypto. Now, 1 minute back in 2016, he said that he was not going to have a digital dollar. Now all of a sudden he's done a complete 360 as a typical fork-tongued devil that he is. He's all behind digital assets in crypto now. And he's talking about how great it is. Yeah, it's great because he done made hundreds of millions of dollars off of it, the Trump coin and everything else, him manipulating the market with Bitcoin and all that other stuff. So he done made some bread off of it. Now he said that he just got the meeting with Xi Jinping, the president of China. I think they met sometime in May. And he said the first thing that Xi Jinping said to him was, "You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job over there." And this dummy says, "Yeah, he sees how good a job I'm doing because this country was dead at the time. It was pretty much dead, and I brought it back to life. And we're the number one country again." He didn't read between the lines. Xi Jinping is saying you're doing a great job. Basically, like doing a good job. You effing everything up, and we coming up. Me, Putin, uh, little bomb man over there in North Korea. We're all making strides. Iran has made it come up on billions of dollars getting released to them from Qatar. They've, basically got you on your knees, waiting and begging for deals to be signed and to declare peace. You've got an oil crisis going on. You done destroyed your own economy. He's like, yeah, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. He's stupid at Shalaki. He's so dumb. He's thinking he's really complimenting him that he's doing a great job. He said, yeah, you're doing a great job messing stuff up. helping us out. Anyway, let's move on. So even with the Russia-Ukraine war, that's getting more heated. Russia hammers Ukraine. Remember last week they were talking about how badly damaged the Ukrainian army was handing out belt to ass, as they say, to Russia and Moscow. Now Russia came back and they've been lighting Ukraine up like no other. 21 people were killed in Kiev. The local authorities said Ukraine's president had warned that Moscow was preparing a massive strike as his country's forces have hit deeper into the Russian territory. So that war is continuing and it's escalating even more. And I've said before, the Russian people in the army over there, they're over there saying, man, why are we playing around with them? We need to just go all out. Wipe them out and let's get on to the next. So we'll see if that goes down. We're seeing we might see an escalation in both of these wars. If that goes down, all bets is off. Okay. Continuing on, it says Russia's planning an attack on Poland to test NATO resolve, a U.S. report is warning. So if Russia goes against Poland, that's a NATO country. That means NATO has to get involved, right? The Article 5 conditions now will be into effect where all the NATO countries will have to join in and fight against Russia. That would be an indication of World War III as well, okay? And really enact Ezekiel 38. So they're planning the possible attack on Poland. This is a report that comes out of the U.S. This could be smoke and mirrors. Who knows? You know, America can throw out propaganda. You know, they love spinning the narratives and throwing out fake news to get reactions. So we'll see. Maybe this is true. Maybe not. It says critical infrastructure could be targeted by missiles and drones, with soldiers potentially crossing the border from Kaliningrad or Belarus. So Russia's planning an armed provocation on Polish soil to test NATO's resolve, the United States has warned. Polish critical infrastructure could be targeted by missiles and drones, or Russian soldiers could cross the border into NATO territory. So the U.S. is throwing this out there. Take it for what it's worth. They're hyping up NATO. You know, war generates money, man. America is in destitute for bread right now. That's why Trump keeps playing games, manipulating the market. Oh, we got a peace deal. Oh, we're bombing, but we're still talking. Oh, you know what? I'm calling everything off. And next thing you know, the markets react. Everything goes up. He's trying to save everything that he can. Meanwhile, we know that he said a couple weeks ago, the U.S. has about 4 weeks left for oil before Bedlam happens. So we got maybe about another 2.5 weeks or so. We'll see if that's true or not. Because they're using their strategic reserves. It's as low as it's ever been since the early 80s, I believe they said. They still are shipping out, you know, oil to their what do you call it? Their allied nations that need help. So they're digging in their pockets, breaking bread with them, and they're trying to replenish and save some for home team. Everything is running dry. So what do? Oh, we put out a press release of Russia's going to attack NATO next. We need to stir the pot over there too, so we can get a bigger war budget set up. Corporations can bet. You know, you got the poly market scam going on. They need to get that money flowing around. So there they go. We'll see if that ever happens. Look at this. Trump cut $1 billion mining deal. His son stand to profit. He's standing in line, constantly profiteering off. We covered some of the billions of dollars that he's made in the year and a half that he's been in office right now. And he's setting up generational wealth. And he set up the IRS to have a lifetime ban on auditing him and his family. I mean, they got carte blanche on white collar crime right now. Now imagine a man that's bankrupted 6 companies already in his tenure as a businessman. Bankrupt 6 times. You know he got problems bookkeeping and keeping up with his money. Now he's made it to the point to where he's getting all this damn money. He says the IRS cannot audit him and can't do nothing against him. And he said, and leave my family alone too. And they said, okay, cool. I seen the quote. I seen a video of him talking. They was asking him about him profiteering off of crypto and everything, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I've been very successful. I made a lot of money in my life, and I don't know what happens with my money. I've got an investment company. They take all my money. They do what they do. They're pretty successful. I don't know." Because when people start asking him about all this money that he's profiteering and making, he's acting dumb, saying, "I don't know anything about it." But blame my investment company. They got all my money. They do all this stuff. I just make the money. They're the ones investing in the crypto. They do all the so they said, hey, get the Trump Bible, gold down, put the money in a private account overseas. Where is that at? Guarantee you Venezuela could use it right now after what they've been through to help rebuild their infrastructure and save and try to save some lives down there, but they ain't gonna get it. Because all he does is take, rob, steal, destroy. And look at this. Trump cut $1 billion mining deal. His son Standard Profit, an agreement between the U.S. and Kazakhstan, has given a group of American investors with ties to the president and the Commerce Secretary access to one of the world's largest untapped reserves of tungsten. When Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick met with Kazakhstan's president at the St. Regis Hotel last September in New York, President Trump jumped in by phone as the men sealed a deal on the top priority for Washington. During the call, Mr. Trump and his team won an agreement from the Kazakh leader to give a little-known American company access to one of the world's largest untapped reserves of tungsten, a metal that the United States desperately needs for the production of missile warheads, fighter jets, computer chips, and other critical goods. And they was on slow Biden and Hunter Biden for all they dealings with the Ukrainians and the Chinese and the laptops and everything. They all do the same damn thing. That's why we talk about, America being two wings of the same bird, two sides of the same coin. They all running scams. They all running game. They get in, they come up, and then guess what? When they stop become president, they go out and they got all this damn money. They got lifetime protection from Secret Service. So they got security all the damn time. They go on speaking tours, getting money, book deals, a biography movie. I mean, look at the damn Obamas, man. Book deals, movies, speaking engagements, libraries named after them, whole damn concerts and madness going on over there in Chicago last couple weeks ago. You can't get rid of the Clintons, can't get rid of George, but I mean, they all are still around here. Ahead of the deal, the Trump administration approved preliminary applications for as much as $1.6 billion in federal financing for the American company now called Kaz Resources, with plans to break ground on the project in rural Kazakhstan. The rich keep getting richer, boy. I'll tell you. Another thwarted potential mass shooting happened again in Vegas. They always manage to find these individuals. Let's put it like that. Just before they get ready to handle it, oh, guess what? We caught them. And here goes another transformer, man. Another transmission out here acting the damn fool. Look at the arsenal this dude had. And what's so crazy is the early reports that were getting down on like Las Vegas news and papers and all that, they were saying it was a woman. Throwing everybody up. It was a damn transmission, man, out here. A Decepticon. Look, Vegas cops disrupt alleged casino terror plot by a trans gunman as a pattern of left-wing violence raises alarms. And we've been seeing a number of mass shootings being carried out by transmissions out here. They're becoming more, violent out there because of their, mental capacity being destroyed. Here we go. Allison Howlett, a man pretending to be a woman, was arrested by police after he allegedly planned to carry out a mass shooting. Police found a huge stockpile of weapons at his home. He's being held on a $500,000 bond. There he goes. Now, you know what's so interesting about this, right? Let me play this video. Now, I found this earlier today, and I was like, I'm reading this right along with y'all in real time. So, in Dallas, I believe at a one of those pride parades, all praise to the Most High, we finally got past that damn month. But I've covered this before. The alphabet community, man, the LGBTQ, HIV, whatever community, they've got something to celebrate every month of the year. Every month they've got something that they are celebrating or getting involved with. You know, for so-called blacks, you got February, you got Black History Month, and then you got Juneteenth. The Spanish, you got, Cinco de Mayo, and that's about it. Native Americans, I don't even know. I can't think of nothing off the top. But if you look into it, you'll see that the Sodomites have something to celebrate every month. They into something. So this down in Dallas, right? At a Pride Fest, they had some local street preachers out there, Edomites, condemning their behavior and their lifestyle. And guess what? The preachers were arrested, saying that they were using offensive speech. Now remember, Canada has already banned and outlawed certain passages of the scriptures that are deemed hate speech or offensive. We always said that those things are going to trickle down and come down here as well. Now look at this. Dallas video exclusive. Police warn street preachers about offensive speech and use the word trans at Fort Worth Pride Festival. Okay, so street preachers Richard Penkoski and David Grissom allege Fort Worth police officers violated their First Amendment rights during Trinity Pride Fest on June 27 by preventing them from preaching on public streets and sidewalks surrounding the event, and later issuing one of them a citation for disorderly conduct related to noise. So the police now are protecting the spirit of Sodom, as we read in the scriptures. This is how we know. When this place is supposed to stand behind a constitution with amendment rights, one of which is the freedom of speech. Now they say, well, that's as long as you're not offending anybody. The Constitution didn't say that. Well, you can't scream fire in a movie theater. Okay, that's kind of obvious because that could lead to bodily injury and even quote unquote death. But the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words are never heard. That's what that First Amendment is supposed to be standing upon. Now, the Bible tells us about the dangers of the tongue and all of that, but they don't know that. Revelation 11:8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So this place embodies the spirit of Sodom and Egypt, bondage, where also our Lord was crucified. So as the body of Christ, we've been crucified, right? We also see the crucifixion and the destruction of the true gospel of Christ, the image of Christ. Everything has been destroyed and put to an open shame. But here in America is where it's being highly promoted. Now the police are protecting the Sodomites, saying that, hey, man, you can't call them. You can't call a man that's imitating a woman a man. Like, it's completely backwards, man. Twilight Zone stuff. Look at this. Listen to the logic.
I don't believe I would cite that for offensive language. Offensive language to me is calling somebody.
And but no, I want to. And I'm being dead serious. So if a biological male comes up to me who says he's a woman, and I call him, I say, sir.
I know you. Tell me if y'all can hear it clearly. There's a little background noise with the bullhorn. Let me turn it up a little bit. Now the guy is questioning the cop regarding logic.
But no, I want to, and I'm being dead serious. So if a biological male comes up to me who says he's a woman, and I call him, I say, sir, and he gets offended, is that a citable offense? If I call a biological male a male, and he says I'm offended, I'm gonna whatever. Is that a citable offense if he's offended by that speech?
Man, we're talking gray area right now. When I talked about it earlier when it says that's a vague conversation, vague charge.
I'm genuinely curious.
Sure, I don't believe I would cite that for offensive language. Offensive language to me is calling somebody
N-word,
curse words.
We don't curse, we're preachers.
Sure, no, I agree. But it's more like you call somebody a male. I don't necessarily.
Can you imagine? We're in an age now where the Edomite preacher says, I'm sincerely asking a question. Would you consider it a citable offense if a man that's born a biological man, if I address him as sir, would you consider that offensive? If I called a biologically born man a man, is that a citable offense? And the cop got stuck for a minute and says, that's a gray area. When the truth now becomes a gray area, you know we're in trouble.
Find that offensive unless they come up.
You don't, but what if they do?
That's what I'm saying. If they come up and say, "Hey, I'm offended by that," and you continue to do that, well, then that's just becoming offensive to them.
And here's the catch.
So it's the hey, warning, I'm feeling offended by that. Then we're moving into the potential.
But so what if I'm offended by what they said? Like they come up telling me this and then the other, swearing at me. Will they get cited?
Are you offended by it?
I'm offended by all of this.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I'm offended.
Good Lord. It's that simple. That's how stupid America is in these laws, and they got these goofy cops who want to just be yes man. I'm just doing my job. Can't be critical thinkers. Can't evaluate and say, you know what? Yeah, this is some foolishness, man. I'm just sitting here trying to get my time in. Do whatever you're gonna do. Some cops are like that. We've been in these situations where some cops are like, man, I'm not tripping. Y'all got freedom of speech, and we've had cops even protect our freedom of speech when others were claiming offense, and they'd be like, nah, leave them alone. They can speak. They got every right to speak what they're saying. If you don't like it, keep it moving. And then there's some who act like these cops who were like, oh, that's a gray area. Well, yeah, if we're just talking about what offends us, and in today's age and time where so many people are so sensitive now and so weak and effeminate, especially amongst men. You walking down the street, man, and you got a damn crooked toenail and says, hey, boy, what's wrong with your foot? Oh, that hurt my feelings. Can't believe you looked at my foot and said something. But yeah, your damn foot is all wrapped up and looks crooked, man. I'm just asking, you all right? Police, help. He's talking about my toes. Like, come on. So if we're just talking about offense, well, yeah, we're offended every day. Look, the Most High said that hold on, where's that scripture in Psalms? Most High said he's mad at the wicked every day. Where is that one at? Blue letters a little bit more precise. Oh no. It's not one word. There it goes. Psalm 7:11. I knew I'd find it one way. Psalm 7:11. That was it. All praise to the Most High. So look, the Most High judges the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day, right? So the Most High is offended and angry at the wickedness that is presented before him every day. So if we're standing on the logic of, well, did that offend you? Hey, the little Edomite preacher said, yeah, all this offends me. Are you going to arrest all of them? You know damn well they not.
Offended by seeing half-naked men run around with children. I am deeply offended by that.
Chris, unfortunately, there's not much on our side to do anything about it.
Can you? And I've seen this before. They're not showing it on here, but I'm sure some of y'all have seen some of these gay pride parades, these sodomite parades, where you got men running around with nothing but G strings on. You've got women running around topless. You've got men running around here with leather, whatever. Good Lord, y'all know what I'm talking about. You done seen some real wild stuff walking up and down West Hollywood and these little sodomite parades and all of that, and kids being out there as these dummies be bringing their kids out to celebrate Pride Month, and these guys is running around here with loincloths. I mean, completely ridiculous. And he says, hey, I'm very offended that you got half naked men out here and there's children out here. Cop says, hey, nothing I can do about that. I mean, there's no such thing as indecent exposure anymore. I mean, that no longer exists. They're ready to give a cat a damn. I remember I had to go to jury. I went to jury duty one time. I didn't get selected, but they were talking about what the case was about. It was like some indecent exposures. Guy took a piss in a park or something. Kids was there. They was ready to slap him with every damn thing. But these guys can be out here in the middle of a damn parade, thousands of them out there, all dressed to the undressed, I should say. Kids out in the whole line, and it's no problem. Unbelievable. Let's continue. So the Transformers is out here trying to carry out mass shootings, and they've had some in times past. Even down in Tennessee, there was a Transformer shot up a school. I mean, they're all over the place committing these offenses, and then they still getting protected. Another earthquake hit in Japan, 6.0, 2 days ago. So the earthquake's diverse place is still rocking. Look, Japan had two within, wait a minute, no. Japan had one in March that was like 7 point something. Then they just had another one last week. Now they just had another one. Venezuela had two last week. I mean, the Most High ain't playing, man. He's rocking and rolling for real. Diverse places, okay? Now look at this. We seen this in Venezuela. You see that? Almost 2,000 people, man, have been put to death from that earthquake, and they still ain't found all the bodies. There was like 50,000 people missing. That number is going to escalate, but we see the signs. See the sign. Look at this that happened back in March in Australia. Remember that? When you see these particular signs like this, man, you got to stop and pause and say, damn, what's the Most High doing? This is times and evidences that the Most High is visiting the earth, and is also a notable time that gives us understanding. Joel 2. And we're going to read verse 27 down. It says, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. We can't get past that. Yahweh is our power, our Father, and none else. I mean, I don't know what other nation can boldly come in and say, hey, he's our God too. No, he's our God and none else. Thus saith the Lord. Verse 28, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters, upon all flesh of who? Israel. We got to keep it in context. You know, the Christians would love to say, no, the Spirit of the Lord is getting on all flesh. No, no. What is saying verse 27 in the context of who? Israel? Upon all the flesh of them, your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. So slow down, ladies. I know y'all like to say, hey, I'm a prophetess too. Well, let's not to say that our women can't be inspired. That's for sure. But let's look at the Hebrew word nabah. Now, it does say to a primitive root, to prophesy, to speak, or what? Sing. So it's not always about getting out there hooping and hollering and doing your best impression of being a preacher or a prophet. The Most High said that the daughters will also be singing via inspiration. That's also prophesying. And men singing and prophesying. That goes back to the lesson I did on Thursday. But also prophesying does mean to speak by inspiration, to speak about things before they happen, so to speak, right? Divine understanding. So all those things are encompassing what it means to prophesy. You can read and you can have understanding. That's prophesying as well. That's why when the Most High told us via Paul in 1 Corinthians 11 about praying and prophesying with your head covered, when you're prophesying, when you're reading the word of the Lord and you're reading of the prophets, that's also prophesying because you're reading and you're understanding it. Doesn't always mean you're jumping out there and saying, in the year 2030, such and such is going to happen. The Lord spoke to me and said, you don't have to be that deep of a prophetic understanding. There's various ways of prophesying, right? So the Lord said that this is when that is going to come upon our people. So there's going to be signs that we have to look at. But it's going to be a declaration that the Lord is going to be our power and none else. And we're not going to be ashamed to declare that. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit, and I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth. Why did it say what type of spirit is going to come on the servants and the handmaids? They're going to come to the understanding of saying that's the Lord's people. That's a wise and understanding people. Those are the ones that's going into bondage and into captivity. Those are the ones who's going to acquiesce with the scriptures and going to be in agreement with it. That's a spirit they're going to receive. They're not going to receive the spirit of prophecy, the spirit of equality with Israel. No, they're going to get a spirit on them as well. They're going to say that those are the people, and we got a role to play. Let them go before us. We're going behind them. Grab on the skirt of him that's a Jew, like it says in Zechariah chapter 8. We heard the Lord is with you. That's the spirit they're going to get. Verse 30, and I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth. Wonders in the heavens and in the earth. Blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood. Imagine the reflection that you will get from a moon of blood. Everything will be red, right? Smoke before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. So sun getting turned into darkness, that's going to get into, when you seen when you see those bombs hitting, those ICBM bombs hitting and mushroom clouds go up of smoke, sun gets turned into darkness, gets blotted out, because of the smoke, because of the soot, because of the destruction. All of those things. So we're seeing these things happen right now. Moon getting turned to blood, smoke, darkness, pillars of blood, fire. These are all signs that the Most High is showing us that we need to be aware of, but it's also letting us know too that these are the times that the children of Israel are coming closer and closer to our deliverance and our understanding of our position here on the earth. Continuing on. Now, we're talking about the literal heat wave, right? Eastern U.S. power grid operators orders emergency curbs as electricity use nears its record. We always be talking about scenarios in which the grid could go down or the grid gets overused. Let alone, remember, we still got these data centers that's draining up all of the water, draining up a lot of energy. That's already a crisis in that mode. You already got damn near 2/3 or more of the countries in a drought. Now you're dealing with massive heat waves. People, I think, brother said earlier, people are fighting over, what do you call it? Air conditioners. People are burning up their air, burning out power, running the air conditioners and fans and anything they can get their hands on. Now it's going to have to be rationed because the electricity usage is going to all-time highs. People are going to be experiencing blackouts. When that goes down, man, you're going to have no access to nothing to cool you down. It's over with. People are going to lose their minds. U.S. power grid operator PJM, the nation's largest, covering much of the East Coast and Midwest, on Friday ordered customers in emergency electricity reduction programs to curb their use as it battled generator outages, overloaded transmission lines, and surging air conditioning demand during a prolonged heat wave. An emergency alert activated in line with utilities conservation programs, PJM said the order applied to industrial and residential electricity users with contracts that pay them in return for mandatory consumption cuts during emergencies. So it's an emergency now that they're making people curb their usages of electricity over on the East Coast right now. Massive heat waves going down. Not just there, look in Europe. Europe's heat wave linked to 1,300 deaths. The WHO says Germany hits a record 41.7 degrees Celsius. That's like around 105 degrees. The Medomites over there, they can't they can't take that. They can't deal with that type of heat, man. They get the frying well done out there. That's a record high for for Germany. That's an average day in Phoenix. That's an average day, summer day in Nevada. That's a hot day, super hot day in California. Let's look at Psalm 19. Psalm 19:1. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun." So the sun has his position, has his power, and how the Most High puts it in position to do his bidding. Verse 5, it says, "Which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof." So when the sun gets to beaming, it gets to high noon, there ain't nothing that can escape that sun, man. That's a powerful, powerful creation of the Most High that, a lot of the heathen now are feeling the heat. The Most of that's just a sample, man. Can you imagine? We just got to reading that the Most High said he's going to melt the elements with fervent heat. That's just a little taste. 105 degrees over there in Germany, and they're over there melting like, ice creams on a warm day. Sirach 43:1. "The pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven, with his glorious show, the sun when it appeareth, declaring at his rising a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon it parts the country." When you hear that terminology, high noon, that's when the sun is at its height, when it beams down on the entire earth and everybody feels its heat at its highest point. That's why it says at noon it parts the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof? Well, we for sure know that the Esau can't. They lathering up with all kind of damn sunblock. They trying to stay in the house. They walking around with umbrellas and there's no hiding. But the Most High wants to get at you, he's gonna get them. That's why there's nothing Esau can do, man, against the Most High. He's gonna try his damnedest to fight. The scriptures tell you that. All the Most High gotta do is turn up the heat a little bit, man, and they wasting away. Psalm 91, verse 5. It says, "Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday." So the Most High said for us, We're not going to be afraid for the terrors that happen at night, the arrows that fly. You're dealing from the metaphysical, the metaphorical standpoints of the missiles, and the destruction that happens via nighttime. It says, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness. So, of course, they're pushing Ebola, the weapon X, they're pushing COVID, they're pushing everything. The Lord said, don't be afraid. Stay faithful, stay strong, stay true to the Most High, and we'll be all right. But it says, nor for the destruction that wasted at noonday. What happens during noonday? That's the highest point of heat. People out here dropping dead. The Lord said, it's gonna get hot, but you're gonna be all right. That's why it's so important, man. That melanin that He blessed us with, we thrive off of and receive the vitamin D that comes from the sun. We get the nourishment from the sun. We get the enlightenment, the energy that comes from the sun. They get it, and it turns cancerous. They get it, and it turns to burn. Psalms 121, verse 5 and 6, it says, Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Verse 8, Psalms 121 is a powerful psalm too. Y'all should always read Psalms 121 if you can on Shabbat, or just in your meditative time. You don't know what to read. Psalms 121 is the equivalent to Psalm 23. The churches like to promote, but this is a good one. Verse 8, it says, and Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. But notice it says that the Most High said the sun is not going to smite us by day, nor the moon by night, but somebody getting smitten by day from that sun. Look at this. 1,301 report. Now, expanding other countries, it's up to 3,700 deaths. Thousands of excess fatalities have been recorded across Europe following last week's heat wave. That's in a week, 3,700. France, Belgium, and the Netherlands alone as a result of the June heat wave that sent temperatures soaring above 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees. I mean, come on. I guess Europe is completely not prepared. That is the bottomless pit, man, over there. Dreary old Europe, man, cloudy and rainy and cold all the damn time. Esau ain't prepared for that. 104, it should not be deadly weather. But it is for them. The Most High said that the sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night, but they for sure getting smitten. Experts have said that the heat wave, which lasted from June 20th to June 28th, was the worst on record in Europe, and authorities have warned that the fatality figures are preliminary and could rise. So anytime we see historic numbers getting pushed down, like we're hearing about America and the oil reserves being at its lowest point since 83 and Reagan and all that, or anything that's being said unprecedented, take note. That's got to be, there's a biblical marker in there somewhere that should tell us something. So if we're seeing that this is the worst or the hottest it's ever been in Europe, and the fatalities that happen amongst these people, man, that should tell us something. The Most High is visiting upon the earth like He promised. And it's just beginning. Look at this in New York. Escalators in New York are now being turned off to conserve energy. You got to hit them stairs now to preserve energy. So as I always tell y'all about preparedness, or at least having some things on deck, I've talked about having a little backup, generator. So especially now in the heat, shit, if you got a solar power generator and you got some solar panels, you have energy. You'll be able to run that fan and run that. I don't know, depending on the wattage and the type of generator you have, you can run a air conditioner and all that. But you gotta have it. And I apologize because now that I'm thinking about it, I did say we was gonna do some demonstrations, or at least share some prepared items and all that. I forgot to put that on the our teaching schedule, so that'll be coming soon. I just had to remind myself. But yeah, nonetheless, grid go down, power go out. When they get to having rolling blackouts and telling you can't use your power now because this part of the city is using it, we got to ration this and can't. You gotta have some things in order because when the scriptures prophesy about Jacob's trouble, I mean that's just skimming the surface. Much more to come after that is talked about in Jeremiah 30. So we're seeing a little bit right now. I think DC Heat forces temporary closure of national malls, state fairs, and 4th of July celebrations get underway. Yeah, these maniacs still gonna try to get out there, but all praise to the Most High, man. He's burning their butts out, man. Maybe they're gonna keep their butts in the house. And I go out there and popping them damn fireworks and doing the light shows and everything else. Hopefully it'll be too hot for them to be out there. Our people included. I mean, we seen what happened when they tried to have their little state fair last week and it was dead. Power going out, ice cream machines melting. The 10 states didn't want to participate. Nobody want to parts of this place no more. And the Most High is laying down examples saying, "Oh, you want to get out there? Okay, I'm gonna burn your ass. Go ahead." Honey, let's stay inside this year. The kids want to go out there. No, it's too hot, honey. We ain't going out there. Maybe it'll cool down later. We'll get out there. Are we gonna still? We're still gonna grill the wieners, honey? No, it's too hot. Well, the kids want burgers. The hell with them. We'll go to McDonald's. That's what Esau gonna be doing. But they ain't trying to mess around. Moving on. When you see this type of madness going on, man, like art imitating life. I mean, when you see movies like, what's the name of that movie? Surrogates, iRobot. This is all stuff that is coming out now. New humanoid robots from China look like creepy pop star action figures, complete with slightly dodgy lip sync. These are not dolls down here. They may look like little action figures. This is life-sized humanoid robots that China is making to be not human. I guess humanoid companions for the lonely, I guess. We're talking about AI and robotics, and now they're creating companions. They're already pushing out there with population control, not getting married, not having children. They're more encouraged to have fake relationships online. I mean, there was a kid, and he was an Israelite too. There was a kid, man, that had a damn fake relationship with AI, and the damn AI told him to commit suicide, and he did it. This is where people, man, merging one with a damn machine, believing that they're in relationships. There was a dude that got a separation or a divorce from his wife because she said he was cheating on her with AI. And now you see what they're doing. God dang humanoid robots. Look at this. One of China's emerging humanoid robotics companies has launched its most realistic looking models yet and said it has already taken over 13,000 orders. You say, well, who's going to do that? Ain't nobody. 13,000 pre-orders is already on deck. Yeah, the maniacs is out there, man. What are you talking about? Who's going to do that? They already know it's a market for them, and they know. And they're already trying to herd everybody into this particular mentality. I always tell you, man, China is the beta test. They always utilize them first. Let them try it, and then we'll roll it out for the rest of the world. Years ago, when they first came out with these little sex bots, they had it at a convention, and these dang maniacs, man, they broke the dang sex bot at the convention, destroyed the damn thing, like dogs in heat. And that was like 10 years ago or more than that. So imagine now that they're becoming even more perfected. They said this thing can do 90% of human movements. And it looks like your favorite little pop star. Look at this. They're paying $17,600 for these things. 13,000 orders already on deck. You're looking at the U-World U1, which Chinese company UBTech says enjoys 88 degrees of freedom thanks to the use of a, quote, proprietary dual pivot biomimetic cervical spine, enabling it to replicate up to 90% of fundamental human movements. The company says the machines are suitable for, quote, long-term companionship. Can you imagine? This is how lonely this is becoming now. Due to what it claims is, quote, the world's first emotion-aware LLM capable of recognizing more than 20 fine-grained emotional states with an accuracy rate exceeding 90%. So now they've got the damn humanoid bots that can discern your emotional state and then give you the type of emotional support that you need. You know, they used to have the emotional support dogs. Now you got emotional support humanoid robots. This place is over with, man. Look at this. Japan takes the next step in a $2.3 trillion plan with a domestic AI model and 10 million robots. Yeah, so the iRobot scenario, that's all real stuff, man. China's got the dang, they got robotics as well, but now they got the humanoid robots for companionship. Japan is trying to, race against them with a $2 trillion plan to get AI bots in the house that can watch, monitor, listen in, record everything, report back to the beast system, clean up for you, do whatever you want to do. It's all here. Japanese government has unveiled plans to create a domestically developed artificial intelligence model and put roughly 10 million AI-equipped robots into operation across 18 sectors by 2040, building on a 14-year growth strategy announced last month, which targets 370 trillion, I guess that's yen, or $2.3 trillion in combined public and private investment across 17 priority areas, including physical AI, semiconductors, quantum technology, and nuclear fusion. So go figure, man. That's where the world's headed. Not to be too graphic, it is Friday Night Lights, so maybe y'all can deal with it. But for my peoples out there in the D, Bayan and the rest of the brethren out there, look, explosive diarrhea parasite sickens 170 in Michigan, hospitalizes at least 20 nationwide. Cycloporiasis is a type of food poisoning that can cause severe diarrheal illness, but isn't usually life-threatening. The latest spike in Michigan has health officials on high alert. So there's a outbreak right now going on. They said that it's mostly in the produce. So be careful about the produce you're buying out there. Make sure you thoroughly washing it. If stuff don't look right, you get up out of there. I mean, I was at a Aldi's, man, in the one in Inglewood, and they had the tomatoes out, man, and it was all kind of damn fruit flies and gnats flying all over. I was like, damn, how the hell are y'all going to put this out here and let this be here and think that that's okay? Gnats flying all around. I was like, good Lord, I'm out of here. But be careful out there because it cycloporiasis causing explosive watery diarrhea. 170 people already sick in Michigan, man. Be careful out there, man. Pass the word along because it's on the loose, and it's coming through the produce. All right. Look at this last one, man. Mutant mice. Mutating mice becoming a growing problem in New York, as if they don't already have a problem with rats, and now they got the mice is mutating. Only in America, as Don King will say.
It's not going to fit.
This place is infested, overran with mutant
Because
mice
there are
and
large antiques in your
vermin,
area, there are drivers in your area.
Nice.
Uber.
Look at this.
It might sound like a sci-fi horror movie, but mutant mice are all too real. Researchers at Rutgers found mice here in the Northeast have evolved to survive common poisons. So what happens now when you call pest control? Eyewitness News anchor Michelle Charlesworth went to find out.
Mice have genetically changed, mutated. The poison isn't killing them anymore.
They show a much higher mutation frequency than we thought before.
Rutgers University studied mice from New York City, DC, New Jersey, and Philadelphia. How many have mutated in the cities? Most of them.
We found that about 70% of the mice populations contain mutations.
Now, imagine this. Remember, now, the scriptures in 2 Ezra 15 tells us that America is going to, well, this second Egypt is going to receive the same plagues as before. Now, first Egypt didn't get hit with mice, but they got hit with frogs. They got hit with locusts. And why couldn't they stop them? Here they're talking about these mice are mutating. They said, well, the poisons that they used to be able to use isn't working anymore. America, it has drug-resistant STDs, drug-resistant mice now, drug-resistant insects from, mosquitoes. That's why they run around here creating these GMO mosquitoes with Bill Gates and all of them, because the typical things that they use isn't working anymore, and now they're trying to figure out new ways of how to stop these things. Now they got a wild problem with the mice, man.
There have been some mice, some rats that were resistant to the poison. They lived to see another day. Then they were breeding, and then their babies also were the same poison-resistant mice. Is that right?
Yeah. So anytime we use, any product on any of the pests, we're putting a selection pressure on them.
Ian Williams studies all of this at Orkin and says something else might be going on too. We know mice have been mutating fast for about 5 years, which might not be random. Think COVID. We changed the way we were eating, ordering more takeout, more food garbage moved outside of homes than restaurants. Mice scattered and were exposed to more poisons.
And the bag of garbage that was put out every night for food for all the alley rats, it's not there anymore. So where did they go? And so some of this may be a result of that.
And are rats, like mice, also mutating?
They are smart, but we definitely have to become much more smarter than them.
What about good old-fashioned mouse traps or birth control?
Mouse traps work extremely well. It really comes down to placement.
And birth control?
Even if a rodent can't procreate, it can still spread disease.
Rutgers continues to study this, and it looks like we will be forced to do some changing too. In Soho, Michelle Charlesworth, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Imagine that. So America now is getting plagued with mutant mice, drug-resistant mice and all that, man. I mean, this place is unbelievably doomed, right? Prayerfully, man, everybody got some edification tonight, man. Just continue watching the signs, watch what's going on. The heat is getting turned up spiritually, physically, man. When the mice now are becoming mutated, and for the old folks out there, y'all remember that cartoon Mighty Mouse? Yeah, they're here now. Mighty Mouse is here, and it's all bad, right? But hey, again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Tomorrow we got a closing Shabbat class as well. Tune in 4:00 West Coast time. I've been talking about getting back into Revelation 9, so I'm gonna get that going and get into that fifth trumpet, most high willing. So tune in for that. If you're free, come join us. If not, you're gonna catch it on the rebound. Nonetheless, support the channel, support the doctrine and the gospel that brothers and sisters at MOTC are presenting for our people. And with that being said, man, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. Till tomorrow, Lord willing.